Abbaboobo is BlackSUNBABY here live. We're doing the Go Greenlight, Infinite Freedom, End of All Evil. And if you haven't watched before, check out the other videos, as you know, that would be awesome. This is a great day. I hope everybody's doing all right. They have taken down my other sites, so this is the 7th account banned, and you know, it's temporary, I guess. I mean, either way, the information will be made known, things like that. Check out our moringa, the most nutritional tree on this planet. We got a promo going on, 10% off of free shipping. So I'm gonna bring you over here, like so. Hopefully the sound isn't too bad. It's 9:20. Check out our efficacies of Abbaboobo. Abbaboobo. Smart Diet. BlackSUNBABY. Abbaboobo. Check out our BlackSUNBABY playlist, which is on YouTube. And you can see how we have the 33rd degree in our pocket for love, peace. Not about competition, but about finding oneness with each other and coming back to our singularity, the oneness on the other side, the flip side. So that's coming soon. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting. Remember the health tricks, as I said in the other videos, that there are health tricks to all of becoming free, okay, in freedom. We have moringa, the most nutritional tree on this planet. We have grounding, taking copper wire to crystals. You can plug this into your ground. You can ground your whole entire room, your house, you name it. So, many alohas. You know I love you. I'm your brother over here. And I hope everyone well. It's best to stay grounded, stay at peace. Check out our site, of course. And I may actually want to plug this in, and I'm going to test it. This is going to be a very important segment. So by me having this plugged in, maybe you can hear me better. So I'm going to test this out. I've got my water. So we're going to go see live. I've got a charger in case we need it. This segment may go a while. I don't know. 9:23 on this is August 19th, 2019. This is a historical time for all of us. So, thank you all so much for watching. And I am going to actually go where we left off, which is I have my reading right here. We were on culture, if anyone remembers, so we'll start back on culture. Okay? I'm going to now see if I'm actually live or not. I think I am. Let's see. Like these effects. There we go. Pretty cool, huh? It's going back and forth. Okay, let's see. Connection is good, as we have solid connection and foundation for the efficacies, which my intentions are to bring forth heaven, serenity, and peace on earth. That is why we are here explaining what the black sun is, how it is in the inner earth, where the heart is where the home is. Abbaboobo, Abbaboobo, Abbaboobo. 5, 5, 1, and then a 9. 19 is God, or Abbaboobo, which is 10 naturally. So that is that. Okay, we're gonna do a test and see how this sounds. It is humid, ain't it? It's nice. I've got my moringa tree next to me. We've got these selling like hotcakes, and I love that because you help support us and our message to bring forth peace and serenity on earth. That's always a great thing. Let's see. It is humid, ain't it? It's nice. Moringa tree next to me. We've got these selling like hotcakes, and I love that because. All right, so we've got that going on. Good, good. So we got the testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, good. All right, this is my full video explaining the end of all evil, the infinite freedom, which comes from the center, the heart, where the home is. Okay? And when you understand that, you understand a lot of different things. Culture, which is control, is what we talked about before. Law and culture, and obscurity. So these are some of the things that you may or may not have listened to or viewed before in the past. Don't forget to like this page, subscribe, thekingmoringa.com. Don't forget that we got a lot of cool stuff going on in general. Check out the part 1, 2, 3 segments as well. Okay? So, we are ready. And so part 1 and 2 was about obscurity. This is the end of all evil. If you listen to this and share it, you'll realize that there is peace and serenity and freedom. So by sharing this information, you're actually making the greatest activist move you can possibly make. Okay? So this is all about real divine love and finding that. Are we asking home-heading questions? Are we free or are we enslaved? And when you have debt, that means death. And this is kind of the things that we put ourselves in, but could be free. So with that said, I'd say starting up right in on our next chapter, which was the created cultures, which is control, are created to protect the power structure. Culture is the enforcer of authority, and culture is the principle in order to defend the authority of evil. Okay, so if you have any questions, comments, please do leave them below. Okay. Looks like we have some. 1 second, y'all. So, Abbaboobo, 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 the Abbaboobo. Blessings and serenity be to all those who wish to have freedom. So asking these home-heading questions, do we have freedom? What is freedom? And understanding the understanding of such things. This is going to be a classic information you're going to want to hear. So hang on in there. Let's go right down the line. Here we go. So I'll say again that this defends the authority, right? Okay, in order to defend the authority of evil, culture must convince you, okay, that it is perverting the concept of morality, subjugates your worth, and destroys your freedom. Culture convinces people of this by perverting the concept of morality. Morality is liberty. Immorality is evil, right? Makes sense. So, in other words, morality is liberty, but immorality is evil. The exercise and defense of freedom are moral. The destruction of freedom is immoral. This is the pure truth of morality. Prudence is the proper application of principle. Prudence is foolishness. Prudence is not morality. It is not immoral to kick a heavy stone with your bare foot, but it would probably be foolish. Prudence is a question of applying the principles and wisdom you have gathered in your life to achieve the goals you have for yourself. This is made possible by liberty. Without liberty, prudence is meaningless. Morality must come before prudence. The great lie of culture is that authority is not bound by morality, and that authority can enforce its own prudence upon you. The great lie of culture is that you are worth less than law, right? Which is Torah, okay? Cultures teach that intentions of prudence can be enforced by law. In this fashion, they gain excuse to control the lives of people. And the great lie of culture, again, is that your life is worth less than law. Cultures that teach the intentions of prudence can be enforced by law. In the fashion, they gain excuse to control the lives of people with order. For people to learn, grow, and find happiness, people must be free to least their understanding of principles. With freedom, they can do this by the process of faith, trial, and error. In this fashion, children grow from immaturity to maturity. In this fashion, human beings gain wisdom. Okay? So in this fashion, human beings gain wisdom. Cultures are agents of evil. The object of evil in the damnation of your ability to grow strong in wisdom, the objective of evil is cultures are agents of evil. The objective of evil is the damnation and ability to grow strong in wisdom. So, with that said, the fashion of human beings to gain wisdom, the object of evil is the destruction of your worth. In order to gain control over you, culture spreads the lie that authority is not bound by morality. It teaches that authority can destroy freedom at will, and claims prudence as the reason you should willingly submit. In the name of defending you, culture claims that the destruction of freedom is morality. Cultures pretend that evil is good and that good is evil. Prudence can be found all around you. It is found in the choices you make every day. Even when a mistake is made, you learn prudence. You learn prudence that you can not be happy. Morality can be found all around you. Whether you find it, you will find joy. Whether you find immorality, you will find misery. Culture, or control, enforces authority by destroying freedom with law. This is immorality. Abbaboobo. Welcome everybody. We have a huge following. Thank you all so much. And I appreciate everybody that came along and donated, has given what they've given to help our epicacies, the 13th Dynasty, Ultimate Truth Warrior X's, You guys are amazing. Don't forget to check out my rap video. Someone asked me to rap for them, and so I did a rap video. I put it together just the other night. It's called Dominant Species, the BlackSUNBABY. You can check that out yourself. And, you know, I maybe consider, if people want me to start rapping my efficacies for them, if that's a preferred choice method for teaching, you know, the culture construct of this matrix demiurge, which we are stuck in a matrix demiurge. Go figure. So, actually, we have that rap is posted. It's somewhere. Let me see if I can pull it up. Maybe you'll be able to hear the rap, and I can explain the rap as well. We will come right back to this here in just a moment. It's right here. You'll see me right there. Okay, it's the Kazwa, so I'm going to replay it. Let's see if it'll be loud enough, first of all. Okay. Hold on. I'm replacing you as the dominant species. Alright, here's my rap. Because I'm replacing you as the dominant species upon the planet. Oh. In 100 years from now, everyone living on this planet will be dead. So it's inconsequential, really, all the shit that you talk. All the bullshit you stand for. It's more important than what you build and what you're ready to pass down to your children. What you're ready to create. You fucking remember that when you challenge a motherfucker like me. Remember, I'm the dominant species. I'm stuck in the world in the future, it's chaotic. The government is psychologically racist and robotic. The matrix and entrapment of socio-economic and neurotic conspiracy theories becomes reality. Life is a war and every day's a battle to me. I'm on the brink of insanity between extreme intelligence and split personalities. But I elevate to the point of reversing gravity. Revolutionary conceptional spitting out of me. Even the dead people in my family tell me they're proud of me. Stupidity is not allowed by me because I'm not the time to play. I'm not the black hole lyricist that takes your shine away. Darkness in any time of day. I'm the technique and you're nobody. So what you trying to say? Stellar density becomes physical alignment. 1.8 billion tons per square inch of confinement. Yeah, I drop knowledge so heavy it leaves the world of balance. Exterminate the spiritual force of all the challenge. I'm the lyrical apocalypse that crumbles the granite, replacing you as the dominant species upon the planet. Yo. I'm lyrically infinite like possibilities, but you don't have the capability because you're like infertility. Because opening your mouth to question my validity is like trying to contradict the theory of relativity. What I spit, the epitome of heavy artillery. My enemies are obsessed with me like the bitch from Misery, but I'll break out like a father running from responsibility. Every time I step, abuse the mic with versatility. I balance humility with brutal instincts. I'll make your whole cipher look like those crackers from NSYNC, and I don't care about your link or your luxury car. I shed light with more magnitude than all of the stars. La brave cop picked it. Y'all don't talk shit. And remember something, nigga, while you rave and you rant. A roach can live 9 days without his head, but you can't. I drop knowledge so heavy it leaves the world unbalanced. Exterminate all the spiritual force to challenge. My lyrical apocalypse that crumples the granite, replacing you as the dominant species upon the planet. I'm explicit by videotapes of conjugal visits. Some niggas too stupid to understand it like astrophysics. Technique is exquisite. I'll make your thoughts a victory. Get pessimistic with the quickness and thick. But everything is successful when I bless the mic I spit with specifically prolific color quotes for coma sickness. That type of style is a 10-year-old child with a swift wrist. Too much reality to fucking hit list. I got Black Panther mentality with a spick fist. I'm a German mind with a Jewish brain, so you can't get dissed. And then even if you're logically gold, locally bold, globally multi-platinum assault, I'm emotionally cold, disciplined, and ready to kill. Like spirits in the same room with you, I'm giving you chills. Drop knowledge while these motherfuckers collinsively spill, and I drop it so heavy it leaves the world unbalanced. Exterminate all the spiritual forces to challenge. I'm the lyrical apocalypse that crumbles the granite, replacing you as the dominant species upon the planet. Yo. Check this video out. It'll be in the link description below. Actually, it's voice rec. Let's do dominant species.
That's great. The time I fucking record.
Gazwa, check that out. Some good stuff. Actually, if you hashtag the Kazwa, that's a lot of my music. I don't know, I've probably got hundreds of different songs out there. The Kazwa. I actually like to do it more for artistical performance, enjoyment, myself. This way it does not hinder my craft, the alchemical art of music. And that's what I am definitely about. And boy, I just keep throwing my shades off and on. So I'm gonna probably have to hook this up to my truck. Well, I'm at 36%. It's 9:40. Abbaboobo, welcome. If you just tuned in, we're gonna finish up. This is part 4 of the Gold Greenlight. Infinite freedom, right? And so, to me, what that song symbolizes is the socioeconomic and roboticness that our nature, our culture has instilled in us in culture. And we can enjoy culture, you know. You may enjoy the times of Tupac, the rock eras in the past. There may be things like this that you identify with. Now, that's what you make of it is a bit different than the reality, which is, you know, what is actually going on as a precursor or actual cursor to all of our realities. So, if, for instance, they give you a piece of the cake and you really like it, or for instance, let's use Skittles or M&Ms, any type of candy that you enjoy, and they put it out, let's say, to a kid, I'd say 9 out of 10 kids are going to go and grab the Skittles, the M&Ms, the cake, the candy, right? Now, what if it's sugar-coated, but inside it's pure poison? You see where I'm getting at with this? Is that the poison is still inside of the cake or culture that is controlling you. So imagine if the control has some bad stuff in it, right? But it's sugar-coated with stuff that you like. Is that not the same thing they do to us by dumbing down an education system and then creating a culture or control based off of music? It can be hip-hop, rap, rock, in which I'm not even diminishing the quality of these things or the artistical abilities of many amazing individuals, male and female, in these arenas. However, using these people at the forefront, at the gust and crust of our enslavement is wrong, and it is immoral. That is, at its finest, the thing that we're talking about with immorality. Okay? So I may have to plug this sucker in. I'm going to show you guys some stuff we have over here. And we're going to get right back in and jump right into this. I found that walnut, and that's kind of the story behind this. That's strygnite. Those are some copper crystals. That is selenite. You may have seen me in other videos that talk about this. I have emerald in there. And so a lot of these things that come from Earth are conductors, superconductors, gold, silver, platinum, palladium. They've got healing mechanisms. And you can actually put many of these type of minerals or rocks, which our body only needs by the way, are minerals. And that is what is found in our soil for our moringa. This is heirloom organic moringa, which I have tons of videos on the education. This is why it's sad that they take away my platform online. I've been doing this for 11 years. 11 years hard at work, and it's just sad. That, in case you didn't hear me, because my speaker's over here, my microphone, that these rocks, selenite, shugnite, copper, the different superconductors, silver, gold, platinum, palladium, ruthenium, rhodium, iridium, and osmium, all these different stones actually have superconductive qualities. The different chakra stones and things such as that. Okay, I like to use them as they do create a different, more positive aura for your surrounding. Whether you're aware of it or not, it does. For instance, shugnite has exclusive studies and information that shows it is very good at removing negative ions in the atmosphere, creating a positive flow. It removes, shugnite blocks the different EMF waves, EMF and even certain Wi-Fi, okay? Which is pretty fascinating when you think about it, because we're inundated with so much static. I love coming out here, as this is where I do meditate, and I see a rabbit comes through here and 2 raccoons, and when I was grounded one night, they came right up on me as I was kind of laying more in the grass, in a sense, sleeping, and they just, when you're connected with Mother Nature, you connect and just, you have a different reaction with animals. They seem to be much more, open to people when we are not trying to harm, or when you're grounded, barefoot, when you're lower to their level. So it does tie in. I find it naturally pretty interesting, as when in the subject of the construct of evil, because I've had people say, Eric, well, do you believe in evil? You can't say it just doesn't exist. Well, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, more so as much as it is an illusion, okay? So with this illusion, we give it power. Would you agree with that? Of course, the individuals who created this system or support the system are not going to like my message. They never have. This is why they've removed my last Facebook account. So they have my Facebook account removed. They have over 800 videos, and then with the Vimeo, 233 videos. So this is a segment, one of the last segments I feel is important to get out to the world. That's why I'm taking my time, and I feel it's important. Either way, it's necessary to get this message out. And like I said before, with the great Abbaboobo, the BlackSUNBABY, they cannot and will not harm me whatsoever. So, let me see here. Put that rock in there. So, as I am one that has been known for coming up with the slogan, Guts, No Fear, that's actually a t-shirt of mine, people may relate to such of a thing. see here. About right there. Perfect. So we're going to finish this up, and I hope you enjoy it. Really listen. You can take notes, and constantly wanting to kick us off of here. Okay. So, like I was saying, is you can take notes. I may have this all written out so you can read it as well, and that will help people really grasp this information, as this is possibly the most important information, I would say, next to or more so than the Bible. And that's a matter of thought opinion, but nonetheless, it carries merit. So I'm going to try to stay still so I can keep these glasses on. Okay, here we go. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so where we were at is when I was talking about cultures that pretend that evil is good and that good is evil, defending you. Culture claims that the destruction of freedom is morality, right? So the destruction of evil is morality in turn. Even when a mistake is made, you learn prudence. Prudence cannot be enforced. To enforce prudence is law. Law is a lie, right? Without the freedom to choose, you cannot learn prudence. You cannot be happy. So, morality can be found all around you. Whether you find it, you will find joy when you find it. Wherever you find immorality, you will find misery. Culture or control enforces authority by destroying freedom with law. This is immorality. So that in reference, it's the control of speech. Would you agree? You know? So speech is controlled by culture because speech advances wisdom. Human communication accelerates growth and learning on an experimental scale. All right? People learn principles on their own through experimentation with their environment, but they learn far quicker when they're able to communicate their thoughts, right? Through speech. Speech is the single most powerful tool in humanity. As you can see, I'm communicating a very important message. Through it, children and adults alike accelerate knowledge in anything they desire to learn. Okay? Culture cannot afford the rapid spread of human understanding. Should people learn their own worth and potential, they would never submit to the artificial authorities placed over them. Culture is about control. They are one and the same and interchangeable. Okay? Cultures are designed to protect the powerful, to protect those in authority. Its job is to make sure that speech cannot flow freely. Okay? To accomplish this, it establishes a pattern of subversion, of thought, and propriety of speech. So that's what brings me to my next portion, which is authority is unquestionable, right? Authority is unquestionable. If you know somebody or you've ever been to a jail facility, you've ever been locked up, you know that the authority is unquestionable. You don't question the authority, right? Culture first labels the questioning of authority as immoral. The rule of law, absolute respect. The rule of law is absolute respect for law enforcement, characters in politics, and the nobility of kings are all examples of cultural subversions of thought. Culture cannot allow people to question their allegiance to a specific law or specific king or a specific system of authority. Instead, it teaches that these things are above question. It is never permitted to question the king, dictator, or democracy. In every culture ever devised, authority is supreme over humanity. Okay? Authority is supreme over authority. The highest extreme of questioning authority, right? The highest extreme of questioning authority is discussing the assassination of authorities. Even to print a line of text such as "This will bring shivers to those who live under any culture." This is the grip that culture has upon speech. And it's ironic because I literally mentioned how I was creating a film which is going to end all racism, right? So I said, strap on your suspenders and strap up your spurs. The white demons or devil is going to hate this one. Now, I never knew that that was regarded as hate speech, especially considering I'm what they consider white. I'm actually Sumerian Aryan, and this is what my film would actually subscribe to, and it would induct that the true history in archaeology is that the Sumerian Aryan comes from Kemite Africa. This is why we're considered hated race, because we are the missing link. So, authority is supreme over humanity. They've removed my account for these things. And is that fair or is that freedom? I think not. So, questioning in the grip of, culture that it has on speech, Facebook may not seem like much, but considering that it was removed nonetheless, shows you the evidence that culture has the grip on speech, which makes it more dangerous than any type of law. Well, they coincide and work together. So let me show you and prove this and tie this together, okay? Questioning whether authority is right or wrong is not allowed, right? The system is above you. You will not fight back. Though law considers itself moral for defending itself with violence, it will teach you that you are immoral for even thinking about defending yourself against it. Lesser taboos on questioning authority exist in varying forms in the cultures of history. In modern times, this is most obvious in the shame brought upon anyone who questions the respectability of police, public education, teachers, and other public employees. The work is considered to be above the work of anyone else. Their actions in their jobs are beyond reproach because they are agents of authority. It is sometimes called respect for the office or position. Questioning their right to interfere with your life will bring you the scorn of culture. This is the control of speech, my friends. Okay? Further examples of this exist in the belief that paying taxes is noble. No, not one person would pay them if they didn't have to. not one person pays $1 more than that is demanded of them under threat of imprisonment. And yet, throughout culture, you hear one person pay $1 more than is demanded of them under threat of imprisonment. And yet, throughout culture, you hear people speak of the nobility of paying taxes. Taxpayer is the title given by those seeking legitimacy in political arguments. Culture, or control, teaches that good people are those who allow themselves to be extorted and controlled without thinking. Okay? Obedience to arbitrary law under the rule of law is labeled character. The more destructive a law is to humanity, the more praise of nobility culture will give to them who obey it. If authority is not questioned, if it is accepted as the proper ruler over man, slavery is the result. Germans failed to question the culture control imposed upon them and by the National Socialist Party. Their servitude to Adolf Hitler and his war machine were the result of billions failed to question the culture of brotherhood, right? Championed by communism, totalitarian slavery, and the deaths of hundreds, millions of people was a result. Larger or smaller, when you yield your mind to culture control, it will make a tool of you and for its own purpose. It begins when you limit your speech out of fear of culture. So again, I have lost 11 years of work on my own due to the inadequacies of culture, the adversity and adversity of my speech is all that is questioning authority by evidence. If you're irrefutable, I become like Jesus and sacrificed at the stake, a martyr for truth. So this is called the diversion of propriety. Okay? The diversion of propriety. So the next step in cultural manipulation of speech is the creation of propriety and politeness. These define the artificial enemies of society that culture would have you focus on instead of authority. They are designed arbitrarily to divert attention from the evil of authority. Okay? And if you'll notice, we did read this section, but we ended with this topic, so I thought to pick it up and start right here where we left off. It'll definitely work out all together. As this is such an important part, I feel it should be reiterated anyways. So what would that world be like? What would the whole world be like if you were free to open your mouth? The minds of people are tethered under ideas called cultural propriety, political correctness, and politeness. So, you could say, Eric, but what about rappers and people like Eminem, Tupac even, who do talk about truth? There's a lot of them that do, right? But it's just like Alex Jones or Ike and many of the YouTube religions out there, I call them, their belief systems, they're shills, the provocateurs, gatekeepers most importantly. They are keeping this information, withholding a lot of information that I find, and instead try to repackage what my message is and focus on one portion and keep you spun out on that diversion, okay? But that is being a shill in one shape or form. If you're withholding information, if you're not telling the full truth, then it is a lie. Many of these individuals are very good at doing these things. They know how to give you bits and pieces of truth and shanty it away with their continuous spun out version of it. If it was full truth, then again they would be censored. They wouldn't have 42 million views or 14,000 subscribers and things such as that. Many of us who are telling the ultimate truth are left in a virtual tumbleweed, if you will. So that is the ultimate reality nonetheless. So this is what the culture has with political correctness and politeness. It focuses attention on controlling the speech of people in such a way that they behave or believe the enemy of the people is impoliteness. They are taught to believe that they are naturally racist, sexist, bigots. Only when culture keeps a tight control on speech are people safe from their own demons. Culture teaches the limited value of people, coarseness of language, and its shameful speaking of words or concepts outside of proprietary culture. While there is nothing evil in the world and language reinvented and molded every day, culture, it would have us believe that words we use are where evil lives, instead of crushing the human spirit employed by authority. A curse is a wish of harm upon a person. Swearing is an oath of action. Yet both of these things have been perverted so as to teach you that speech is what is evil, and not the destruction of freedom that evil people employ. Every time you hear an element of speech that is culturally unacceptable to speak, you will find a scapegoat. The specific interface in instance is irrelevant. Culture always creates propriety to hide tyranny. In the beginning of the National Socialist movement of Germany, culture was engineered to make defending a Jew unseemly. It likewise made it impossible to challenge those who condemned the Jews. This pattern is found in every culture ever created. Nazi culture was not after the control of the Jews, it was after the control of the Germans. Which leads me to choice, right? Because we have all these choices. We have free will before us. Do I walk across the street? Do I say this word or that word? Just like, for instance, do you say a certain word that goes against taboo that culturally goes against, or is that word just a word after all? Backed by history, it's your emotion. There's no words. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So you have choice, though. In order to free yourself from slavery of speech control, you must understand the principle of personal offense. If you are offended by a word or a sentence, like the N-word, for instance, or Jew, which there's many different ways you can say that, if you're offended, then you have chosen anger and hurt for yourself. You've allowed someone to cause you to be angry. Culture would have you believe that it's been forced upon you, but this is not true. It's not so. Culture would have you believe that evil is found in the discussion of ideas, or passing of international or unintentional insults, intentional or unintentional insults. It would have you believe that certain words or allusions are where evil is and be found within society. If evil can create the enemy of speech, It can convince you to yield to its control. This is the design and purpose of culture. Though people always feel entirely justified in taking offense at speech, it is nonetheless their full choice. They have the freedom, right? They have the freedom to feel anything they want when they hear the mind of another person. Yet, the solution offered by culture is to force speech into a manner conducive to culture's taste. Once you believe that the control of speech is noble, you will not wonder at why it's improper to question authority. So, crushing the human spirit, while arbitrarily culture is found amongst adults everywhere on earth, it is most easily viewed among children. Culture creates ideas of style compulsion, body image compulsion, and action compulsion. To prefer pink over blue is personal preference. To wear blue because you fear wearing pink is destruction brought by arbitrary culture. Cultures limit the choices available to people by creating arbitrary rules for your life and enforcing them with pure pressure. Crushing the spirit of people allows culture to gain their obedience. When people fear standing tall because they believe they are not sufficiently attractive, wealthy, or educated, culture is crushing their spirit by teaching them that they have limited worth. People who do not know their own value are easy to control. The pressure applied amongst children are a paradigm of the culture of more powerful evil. Those children who are most adept at understanding how to conform to cultural norms and apply the strictest enforcement against everyone else are the ones who gain social power. This is the type and shadow of culture of nations and kings. A model citizen of culture is one whose pattern themselves precisely to the ideas of culture in premise. This means style, speech, education, economics. In reality, this means obedience. Culture teaches people to idolize the perfect citizen. It does so because it desires your obedience as well. These people are rewarded by society for being easily molded by culture. The powers of authority and compulsion in all walks of life will always be rewarded with model citizens with tokens of nobility, and will always punish those who fail to meet the standards of servitude and humiliation and ridicule. Such is the creation of a culture control. Such is the making of slaves. This breakdown of the human spirit eventually forces everyone to conform. Very few people will even think of fighting the power structure amongst everyone except authority. And this is where we talked about arrogance versus conceit, like to be conceited, and things like that. And then we had went into obedience. So I'm actually going to go ahead to where we were at. If that is all right. And please leave, because we are talking about the most important part now, which is money and greed. Okay? This is what leads me to this next portion, which I feel everyone can relate to. Is money good? It's a matter of opinion, right? and then, you know, making it as if what you wear, what you, how much money you make, these things, as if they matter, when we know they don't. And one of the things I like to say to, I see with religious folks, they'll say stuff about, you know, I don't know, badge of authority or things like that. You have your slaves and your enforcers. So what I find interesting is how your books that are considered holy tell you to be, it's okay to be a slave or be a happy servant, right? But if we didn't show obedience, it would be something like the destruction of all this evil. Okay? So, we're going to talk more about the actual obedience and greed and power, money. So that is the next portion. This is where we left off. Just kind of want to take a stroll, show you guys where that bunny rabbit came. It was like right over there. That's one of my meditative spots there. I like to meditate on that hump over there. So it's really neat. And you can get grounded just about anywhere. I really enjoy going on adventures in nature. When I'm out here meditating, it's no doubt that I can be one with the Creator, and more I realize these things, and I love it. I love to be free out here. It feels that's when I'm free. And I notice, I'm going to tell you all, when I quit my day job and I really noticed, you know, I let go of the realization that you are not lazy if you do not have a job. In fact, I'm setting the standard mold, which is going to make, like I said, the Black Sun's great reset. Because when you understand that you are like a treasure box, and inside you activate your heart. And once your heart is activated, you realize that you are not a designed robot to be a slave, enslaved. No matter what they'll have you believe, okay? No other creature on earth pays bills. Let that sink in. Is it possible to be penniless and make something of yourself? I am pushing for everyone with the great reset from the black sun below, which makes the above. This is information they would not have you know, which even goes further than my teachings and readings here. So if you watch my other efficacies, this is very subtle comparatively to what my efficacies are. If you check out BlackSUNBABY playlist on YouTube, you can really see how to empower yourself through almost magical, beyond magical abilities. So I really want all this information to sink in, smart be it, allow it, feel it, know it. I want everyone to consider today. Let me make sure my mic's close to me here. I want everybody to consider to actually live this and tell yourself one thing that you can do would be to say, I want 5 times. Make it like that. You can probably do more, but just so you can really get it down, I want you to say, I want you to actually do this exercise. I want you to either look in the mirror or just on your time off, say what you want 5 times. I want to find the love of my life. I want to find the passion and my dream of my world. I want to create my purpose, my divinity. Okay? I want protection. I want healing. I want power. I want luck. I want solitude. I want to remove myself from servitude. I want to no longer be a slave. Sorry, they keep trying to kick me off of here. I want to no longer be enslaved. Or simply, if you're really still conventional, you can say, I want to be financially free. That's a good diplomatic statement. Which I have asked a request from the royal elite, monarch, for $110 trillion to bring it here to this address, leave it in my truck, right outside my truck, right here, this parking space. You can leave it on letter K, as they know where I reside. $110 trillion. $12 trillion in gold, $12 trillion in platinum, $12 trillion in silver, $12 trillion in copper, $12 trillion in Bitcoin, $12 trillion in my mother's bank account. And we can then help Rhode Island, Seattle, Missouri, all 50 states. I can get this nation healthy, and in the turn, when they see the results, I will, and I know I will, get the entire planet healthy, including the soil, the air, you name it. The Vatican has hundreds of trillions of dollars, and so I am obligating them to do this now, as below becomes above. The Black Sun has heard my commands, my decree, my demands, and this is what they know. They hear this and they watch this, they hear me, they listen, and they know. All the creatures on the planet know that all I'm asking is to, just like this little guy here, stop causing, there's a grasshopper, stop causing harm and suffering to my creatures, my plants, land, and animals, as well as my children. Okay? My people, my human beyond gods out here, stop harming all of my people. This is why I am so hard at work, and I don't even have time to obligate myself to social interaction, because it will keep me from this mission that I have been chosen for. My calling by the Black Sun to become the BlackSUNBABY and be a forebearer and runner, messenger of the one creator of the universe, Sophia the Black Sun, Mother Gaia, Earth, the Queen Aurora Borealis. These things are not taught about. They're trying to keep you from these simple things that are found in nature, because they don't want you to identify that there is an actual creator, there is a heaven within, and we can obtain these things. We can experience them, and we can find them. They're physically here on Earth, and we will awaken to see this on the flip side. So I say flip it, and have guts, no fear. Home is where the heart is. So as I've said, watch my efficacies to this legendary segment where I make the full out writings, commands, demands to the royal elite, Vatican, Black, White, Pope, the Queen of England herself, and all rulers and empires of the world. They have heard my message loud and clear, and if they do not do as has been directed by the Black Sun, Baby, the Kazwa, E.G.Plott, plagues, hexes, and curses have followed as a result to overriding and undermining the limitations of Mother Earth. You cannot continue to frack, destroy, spray, poison the earth, poison the waters, trash the villages, the lands, the rivers, the forests, the jungles. You will only destroy your own ecosphere, your own home, which will destroy you. So we are allowing the tricksters to trick themselves, because it's not going to end very well. Your destruction, your very own demise, is among you all. So I am the last living solution and hope, as most are brainwashed by their culture. They're controlled. We have a solution right there, and that is going to be the one solution: purify all impurities in the water. I can reverse the pollution in the air, the water impurities, the food, and all the processed foods. We can create a biofuel that will run all engines and even cars with this tree. It comes from a plant that is very efficient. So, with that said, there is absolutely no excuse or undermining this reality. This is what is supposed to be. This is prophetic. This is an epic prophecy, hence the word efficacy. Abbaboobo, Abbaboobo. Abbaboobo, the black sun baby, Kazwa, Magnacle. I deliver these messages to all, and I hope all hear loud and clear. I know this message will be received. Smart be it. This is it. It is Abbaboobo. Okay. So, I think we have a firm foundation here. I got an idea. We will put y'all up here. Alright. Abbaboobo. So, I'm going to continue where I left off. I hope you all enjoy this. And check out more efficacies if you want to learn more about what I'm talking about. Because it's going to happen. It's called the Great Reset. It's happened throughout the ages. And so it will be. It has to. Because by our intentions, our good, positive, divine love intentions, it does manifest a reality out here, whether you're aware of that or not. Just as people pray, they bow their head downwards to the black sun and they say Amen, Rahu. So, that's what we're doing here. The Great Reset is among us. I hope that these royal elites make the right decision and choice. So, we're going into obedience, greed, money, and chivalry. Okay? So, here we go. Obedience. Right? Let me know if y'all can hear me all right. It's the authority which... obedience is to authority is the only objective of culture. It has 1,000 facets and millions lies. A million lies, but its design is always obedience. Okay? So again, going back to what you want, saying it aloud. I want protection. I want power. Things like that. If you remove fear, guilt, shame, regret, and even obedience, you won't have guilt, shame, or things such as this. Because there's no reason. Who is judging you? Who is condemning you? No man can therefore condemn another man, because no man has power over another. If he does, it's considered authority, which authority and law is a lie, right? Law is lie. Torah. So obedience, again, is the authority. It's only objective to the culture. It has 1,000 facets and millions of lies, but its design is always obedience. So the key here is obedience. So do things for yourself. You deserve the best. You are the best. You are number one. So in regards to this, consider I want. So all those things you wanted, write them down, repeat them, know them. And now the next key element, allowing, feeling, visualizing what it is you want with your intentions, and then knowing that they're going to come to pass, right? Knowing. So channel that connection with Mother Earth. Ground yourself barefoot. Gaze at the sun all day. When you begin to meditate on these things, make your own rules. Do it your own way. Let it be. After all, man has figured these things out on their own. So what discrepancy would be obliged if you just did it yourself? They say the best teacher is learning yourself. The best teacher is learning for yourself. Unlearn and now relearn. By removing all dogma, bias, and belief systems for a moment, step back. You can pray to God or whatever it is you believe and pull us away from your indoctrination, grooming, brainwashing, social engineering. We've been lied to about a lot of things, folks. So, how do we dismantle this? How can we overcome the subtle obscurities of our victimization due to our own self-induced, mindless self-indulgence, to adhering to and bowing before obedience? So those things I was getting to, I want protection, I want financial freedom, I want to not be a slave anymore, I want to not be enslaved, I want to be free, I want infinite freedom. Now don't pray to me, I'm not your guru or your God. However, you are your own God. You are beyond God in that sense. If God was a creation of man, after all, pray and rely on your own self, your own actions. Make your intentions first. I want to better my health. I want to gaze at the sun. I want to ground barefoot. Now say this. Change out the want for no. I know I am not a slave. I know I am no longer enslaved. I know I am financially free. I know that I am a great musician. I know I am intelligent. I know I am beautiful. I know I am a miracle. I know I am powerful. I know I am capable. I know I am beyond God. I know that I have protection. I know that I am one with the Black Sun, the Creator. I know I helped the Creator create everything. I know that I am lucky. I know that I love nature and all of its beauty and its creatures and its green life. I know it. Now allow that energy to come in. Ground to that energy. Breathe in the air, the ether in which it creates that divine life, that nature which gives these plants, as you see here, this moringa, the green life, which we consume. We consume this life and we are rewarded with good health, longevity, and an elixir of youth. Obey to the commands and wielding of your own desires, your own intentions. So, I know I am powerful. I know I am the best. This not only builds the word's confidence to mind, but it builds solidarity and strength within your own soul. Being grounded first and going to that first root chakra or root place to begin with is where everyone must start. Just like with this tree, all trees begin by the planting or sowing of the seed. You must have the seed in order to make a tree. Every tree started from the seed. So, chivalry was the code of honor, right? Chivalry. It was the code of honor created by royals. It was created by the royals in the Middle Ages. This honor consisted of blind adoration of knights and noblemen. Peasants and serfs were taught that those who ruled over them and enforced the law of the king were always respectable and moral. The objective was the obedience of human beings to authority. The teaching of chivalry was that chivalry was the knights of law enforcement and had more value than anyone else. So patriotism is the code of honor created by nations in the modern times. This honor consists of total allegiance to whomever controls the nation at the moment. Patriotism offers no choice. You cannot choose which nation to support. You are a slave by birth. You cannot refuse obedience. All law has total claim over you. Patriotism teaches that the nation is glorious and strong, and that people have value only inasmuch as they bow to it. The rule of law is the code of honor created by democracy. It teaches that honor is found in obedience to the law. This code teaches that you cannot examine what the law says or who wrote it or why. The rule of law demands total obedience. Law is a weapon, and obedience is its design. This rule of law equates criminality with morality. The rule of law teaches that law has more value than people. All cultures call disobedience treason and scare people with ideas of treachery against what is right and proper. Treason is the premise that it is wrong to disobey the interest of authority. The truth is that it is wrong to compel others to action against their will. Since authority is always a creature of force, the claims of law are immoral and irrelevant. There is no such thing as treason. So, you have slaves as enforcers. Those who are under the limitation of culture will enforce culture's doctrines upon others. Culture teaches that morality is found in obedience, and so those who believe that authority is rightfully exercised over people will demand that their friends and neighbors behave according to culture's will. This is the treachery of culture or control. It convinces people that slavery is morality. It desires only obedience, and people return it in droves. It convinces people that the destruction of freedom is morality. It pretends that evil is good, and that good is evil. All who would speak against authority in the defense of freedom are condemned. At its strongest form, culture is able to convince the people to become soldiers that murder, plunder, and conquer new peoples. It has happened in every empire. It has happened in every kingdom and nation, from Nazi warlords to barbarians in hordes, and from those lynch mobs to law enforcement. Authority is expanded and retained by violence. Those who participate in furthering the goals of evil are given the titles of bravery and honor by culture, which we know as symbols of authority, such as a flag or a badge we see all around us. These authoritative symbols, what do they mean? Culture seeks to enforce authority by impressing upon the minds of people that they are inferior to law. When people believe that they are worth less than law, they will believe that it is their rightful place to obey. The symbols that authority uses to create this illusion that people have limited worth are very similar throughout history. The robes of modern judges compare to the robes of royalty. The wigs of the late European politics compare to the crowns of royalty. The badges, the uniforms of enforcement, and the armor of knights, captain, general, senator, magistrate, sheriff, prince, lord, titles, clothing, and badges have been used in every culture in history to create an illusion of authority. Culture, control, focuses the mind on symbols such as honor, loyalty, devotion, and duty. Such symbols are not new. It is easy for most people to recognize the foolishness of loyalty to king, dictator, or communism. However, people still fall to modern symbols such as law, democracy, and patriotism. If the objective of a symbol is obedience, it is evil. Police officers carry badges to show that they are duly authorized enforcers of the law. They enforce the law upon you, but you did not authorize them. This is the illusion of authority. Let's see. There we go. Culture hides tyranny behind the trappings of meaningless symbols. It would have you believe that law is authorized to reign over you however it pleases. it hides the fact that only you can give that permission. Instead, it presumes permission by birthright or by the geometry of your location, relative, or to its border. It is an illusion. Should law truly be authorized agents of defense or production, it would have to receive the permission of every single person it claims to represent. It would have to allow every person to extricate themselves from the authority if law failed to meet its obligation. Law never seeks permission and never will. It does not represent you, it represents evil. Which leads me to the most important part of all. Money and greed. Money is good. Culture has invented the lies of money. Money's evil. So that authority can more easily lay claim to it. Authority can make your ambition of improving your life by demonizing your labors. Culture teaches people that desiring greater comforts is selfish and greedy. It teaches that money is a mysterious evil. The more money is condemned, the easier it is to steal from you. Greed does not exist among free people. Greed is not the love of money. The love of money is only the love of a better life. Greed is the theft of money. That exists only among tyrants. There is no end to the amount of improvement you can have in your life. There's no limit to humanity's ability to cure disease, to end hunger and enjoy life. Culture would have you believe that you are limited. Culture teaches that you are not worthy of achieving your dreams. There is no greed in desiring more. There is only greed in stealing the labors of another. Evil is theft, and theft is evil. It is the nature of authority to steal. Only tyrants possess greed. Only tyrants possess greed. When culture teaches that working for money is greed, it also teaches that labor without money is noble. Laboring by the rule of law for the collective we is thought as the proper form of ambition. If you cannot choose to give or to keep, then you are not we. You are a slave. This symbol symbolizes authority according to their symbols, and that's what I have on my logo. We're the authority on health and divine love. So, in the suit of law, law is a weapon. Authority establishes itself as the only means of defense. Because of this, people have no recourse against law. Law is designed to enslave all who obey it. There are many people who are able to use the law to extort. Lawyers and thieves regularly band together in democracies to loot the valuables of people. It is commonplace to fear behaviors and speech because they will be used as pretense for extortion. The idea of law that licenses extortion is liability. This idea teaches that one man is responsible for the failures of another. It is commonly accepted as noble principle of justice. It is not justice, it is a lie. Liability is not a principle. Principles need no enforcement. The reason liability laws are enforced is to extract massive sums of money from anybody who happens to be able to pay. Liability teaches that you have a responsibility under law to prevent the failures of another. If you have more money than they do, in the free world, people's actions are their own, and their failures bring consequences. Those consequences of principles are confounds necessary to the growth and understanding of humanity. Law twists the consequences and assumes liability by fiat. Law confounds our understanding of true principle with obstruction. This is done to enslave and extort. So it leads me to the next point, which is collectivism. Collectivism. Culture teaches the worthiness of the common good employed by force. It teaches that it is acceptable to issue law to advance a collective idea, whether to pay for a project or control behavior. Compulsion is frequently labeled public interest. If these things are truly for the benefit of people, why must they be forced into order to accomplish them? Remember the difference between principle and law. Principle requires no enforcement. No law is required in order for people to feed and shelter themselves. If someone must be done by force, if something must be done by force in order to accomplish it, then it is not a good thing. It is only something that authority wants. All government, all violence, and all laws are methods of forcing you to yield money or motive without your permission. If these things were truly provided benefits to you, then you would do them willingly in a free market to get only that which you pay, where were things that truly provided benefits to you, then you would do them willingly. In a free market, you get only that which you pay for. In government or godverment, you can easily get anything you want at the expense of others. Those who have the most to take are the easiest to rob. Culture uses ideas such as working class and the rich. These ideas have no meaning, since all classes work, and even the poor of today are rich compared to the rest of the world. These ideas are just tools of cultural manipulation. If culture can create social classes and convince you that they are at war, then it can hide its own tyranny. Culture creates collectivism with individual crushing labels such as we and our. People are taught that within a nation they are our children rather than the parents. Culture or control teaches that we want laws and taxation, and that we fight wars. The destruction of the individual in collectivism directly serves the purpose of evil. collectivism teaches that good things can come from the compulsion. And it teaches that people can be forced to accomplish things for their own good. It pirates the love people have for their neighbors and twists it into the authorities' demands. Slavery is the result of an individual that will not choose a thing. Then it is not good for them. Force crushes the human spirit. Choice enslaves and enables life. So choice, it actually enables life. So you can see how they do this construct of evil by use of money is the key. Do you need these tangible things? Do we need these cars? Could these governments not afford to give us free cars, education, homes? And absolutely they could. Just looking at the Vatican alone, who has trillions, and human poverty and starvation, malnutrition still exists to this day. There is no doubt that what I'm saying is an atrocity of our time, and the reality, the absolute true truth, has been stated in this entire video segment. Not a single word of what I have said is fabricated or embellished at all. I'm going to have to charge this. So I'm going to take this. We're going to go into the car. As I want to actually continue, it's quite loud out here. I'll have to plug. Always seems like your phone falls when you try to do something. Alright. I've got actually this. How y'all liking this effect? I hope you guys are enjoying this, and you love the hard work that I'm presenting to you all today, I hope. As this is really important information of our time, crucial for understanding, for the development of each and every single one of us. Oh man. If you have any questions below, post it. If you want arguments or debates, go ahead, debate me. There's no way that you can actually debate this, in a sense. I mean, you can try, but there is the essence of what is right, what is wrong, what is evil, looking at counteractions of this or that, what causes that, what is the fundamental foundations of things. So just consider that before you're arguing. I think most people understand, they understand, overstand that what I am saying is the absolute true truth at hand. Okay? That is the ultimate reality. Okay, there we go. We got a little bit of air. We got this plugged up. We're ready to roll. Let me just get my water. I think we got this. This is cool. Oh, shoot. And I will end up making this a video together on the YouTube channel, which, you know, of course, I'm sure many people will not like to hear this sort of a message, but nonetheless, it is the ultimate reality. I'm going to take this guy, put him over here. Abbaboobo, thank you all so much for watching. You guys have been so patient and awesome hanging out with me. And that's one of the best things about all this is you do get to hang out with me. I get to hang out with you. You get to know me and my character more. I've been doing this 11 years, and so it's really fascinating. They've tried to take me down off the web. I created this logo. It means a lot to me. In fact, actually, I made this logo right up there on the second story, and it was thundering out. It was actually, lightning struck over here. I heard a gunshot over there. Pretty wild stuff. Okay, so let me grab my stuff. I will put, is it actually midnight right now? In Tennessee, perhaps.
Daylight. Our
Whoa.
mission here at Joy.
Dream Theater, baby. Hola. Get the 8-ball, baby. Dialing 8 is the gate out. Death do us part. Yes. Yeah. It's actually reversed. So you got puzzle, putting the puzzles together. All right. That is Change of Seasons by Dream Theater. Okay. like some fresh air. Alright. It's really cool to find your own special medium of what you like to do, want to do, and be. Be the person you choose to be. Be absolutely whatever it is you want to be. Nobody can change that. That's what I love about life. And it's only going to get better. Like I said, till death do us part. We are establishing our own, your own matrix, your conscious creators. But what I'm getting at is when you develop a firm understanding of that you can create so much more, not just the little boxes that they have created for you. Like I said, 8 ball. You can always dial 8 and get out. Dialing 8 is the gate to get out. I find that interesting that I found this. It's very symbolic that I just came across it. So it's just interesting things like that. And, you know, every day is an adventure when you're connected to that, where you're supposed to be. So I'm supposed to be right here, perfectly where I am at, due to my intentions through my subconscious that I've created. If that makes sense. That may be a deep statement to say, but nonetheless, it is absolute, because I said it. For me, other people may be down a different path. But nonetheless, I know people may be going to law school, wherever, and that's where you're at. But is that really what and where you're supposed to be at? At the end of the road, at the end of the day, when you've been like me and you've established different views on stuff, you begin to say, well, you know what? I want a lot more. I want better for me. I don't want to just be some product of society and societal norms that they want me to be. They want me to be this way, act, dress, talk in a manner that is other than who I am. To me, that is not who you are intended to be. That is not your calling. Your calling is where you actually want to be, right? And that's why I just don't agree with just accepting second best or this other life that is not really what you agreed to. You know, and end of the road, some people say, Eric, but I enjoy doing this or that. That's selfish, because think about it. Do you really want to be a slave? Just because, you know, money is not bad. You want to better your family, your life, your kids' life, your family. I understand that. But as we said, the greed that emits itself all around us is the actual problem at hand. It's the very essence to the problem. Like I said, we all could easily be given $1 million. Imagine how much people could do. We could all collectively work together to band a great businesses to build sustainable permaculture. There's the right lifestyle to live. It's back in nature. And when we connect with that nature, then we are home where the heart is. Like I said, Aurora Borealis, you go back to her, she is the truth. That's why she has the word Alice in her name. Alice is truth. So, let's continue on. Let's continue on. I shed my love to you and just let you know, I do love you. I love you. I love you. I do. Divine love, Abbaboobo to you. Peace every which way. Now it's like the glasses are stuck on me now, finally. Okay, so where are we at? Remember, we just got done talking about the choice enables life, like I'm saying. So what is your choice? What do you will? What do you want? right? Good question. So, let me explain. You have morality and values, right? Okay, so morality and values. Think about this for a moment. Turn this air on. Which pays for my gas, right? For my vehicle. So evil is not found in the stupidity of man. Evil is found in the slavery of man. Law impersonates morality. Culture teaches the ultimate infallibility of law in order to compel obedience. Even when law is wrong, culture teaches that the moral thing to do is to obey it. Right? So, law presumes to enforce prudence on people by calling it morality. This is the ultimate deceit, however. Morality is freedom. Law destroys freedom and calls it morality. You see what I'm getting at? Freedom is the cure for imprudence. All the social ills that law presumes to correct exist because people are not free to learn and grow with limited ability for growth. Principles are confused, and foolish behavior is the frequent result. Freedom brings wisdom, peace, and prosperity. The history of freedom shows this clearly. Force and compulsion destroy the value of human beings and dissolve the will of their spirit. Evil steals the sovereignty you have over your own life. Nothing righteous can come from the destruction of freedom. So it leads me to sanity. Culture teaches that only nuts and crazies challenge authority. Law is the holiest and most sacred and symbol of culture. Insanity is not an inability to perceive reality. It is a willing rejection of reality in favor of the artificial constructs of tyranny. Law threatens violence upon all who refuse to obey it. When you choose to act upon an artificial view of reality, you are insane, right? People obey law out of fear of death until they can be properly cultured to accept the rule of law without question. They have shills that try to scare you. Cultural indoctrination is insanity. Cultural indoctrination is insanity. The definition of insanity is blind obedience. It is insane to believe that those in power over people rightfully belong there. It is insane to assume that they will always be there. It is insane to believe that law has the right to command the obedience of people. The culture of royalty, the culture of patriotism, and the culture of law are all insanity. No human being who understands the fullness of their own worth would ever accept the notion that someone ought to rule over them. It is the function of culture control to blind the eyes of people to their own worth and to deafen their ears to any speech that may teach them. When cultural influence is at its peak, insanity ravages the mind. So when cultural influence is at its peak, insanity ravages the mind. Obedience is the object of authority, and authority wants no possibility of rebellion. The definition of insanity is blind obedience, folks. Which leads you to death. We're all headed here, back home. So is any of this matter? Can you take any of this to you, with you? To where? To the grave? Have you heard that before? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've heard that. You can't take that with you to the grave. Or how about this? How about you can't serve two masters. You will love the one or you will hate the other, right? So you'll love the one or you'll hate the other. How about this? How about you are your own master? Why serve any master? Certainly not anything that they've put out for us, right? A master, after all, is something, if you're following a master, a guru, what have you, you are following something that has power over you that you obey to. Right? Something that has power over you that you obey. Wow. Some deep stuff. Really, really deep. Okay? So, you can't take it with you to death, do you part. So, you might as well take a leap of faith here. This is not your only life. We are going back to our infinite source. When you take the faithful leap of faith and go out into nature, you'll be given this information from Mother Gaia, Earth. She will tell you all the things you need to know. I'm no demon, I'm no devil, I'm not Lucifer or some words you can put on me. I'm merely a human man, a thought professor, the ultimate truth warrior X. These are words that I've created, but essentially I'd like to be nameless. I wish there was no words that could entangle me into a box or a web. These titles, words, labels are all controlled constructs in order for others to label and judge and condemn you. You can't condemn me because I don't follow anyone. I'm not asking you to follow me. I'm not a cult leader. I'm not creating a culture. I'm telling you to stop the experimentations, the evil overseeing of all these ideas that we need to research these things and how people think. And the only reason they do all this is for psychological warfare, psychological, spiritual abusing. And then later saying, well, we understand why the human body and brain think this way, why you react that way. These are terrible, evil misconceptions of real experimentation. It's one thing to experiment and figure out things and learn something new. And entirely another thing to be free and be set apart from the evils of the world and to better all of humanity. We could simply better all of existence by learning good information from Mother Earth, who will educate and give so much more. Free energy, life, prosperity, healing, prevention of disease, and freedom from enslavement, and that in obedience. Can you imagine such a world? It can exist here. And it's going to have to, because heaven will be here, Shambhala. We will be freed from the bondage of this enslavement, socioeconomic construct, matrix demiurge. We are going to awaken. The subconscious is right. the goofy, funny world was the right place to be all along. We were never supposed to leave that, right? When you were a little kid, you had an innocent heart, a heart of gold, and you were very imaginative. You had an imagination that could rule the world. And you still do today. So, let's go into the next part. I thank you all so much for watching this. I hope you're able to hear this. I know that all people are resonating this message, and I know this message is going to go viral. It's going to reach the entire universe already, interverse, to the whole world around. All people will understand what I'm talking about. You already do. There's no way I'm talking to you as if you're smart. All individuals can relate, no matter what. So it takes me to the defense of freedom. Because you know what, after I just said all that, I'm sure one of you out there is saying, wait a minute, Eric. Okay? So, in my defense, I'm going to say, this is how you defend freedom. Right? Because culture, it teaches that only police have the right to defend. It teaches that only authority has the right to decide if you are worthy of defense and what level of defense it will provide, while it teaches that it is never acceptable for you to defend yourself. Culture teaches that when the law implements kidnapping and murder to enforce its authority, it is always acceptable. In order to remove all thought of people fighting their masters, culture teaches that revolt is never acceptable. Rebellion without violence is almost always impossible. Culture ensures that authority holds a monopoly on violence, and it has no compunction about kidnapping. Imprisonment and murder. The only way to accept authority is to destroy tyranny. This is the reason massive wars have been necessary to destroy entrenched tyrants such as Adolf Hitler. Cultures, and also Genghis Khan and many people who wanted to take over the world, right? Supposedly. Culture controls speech to stop authority from being questioned. Culture controls speech to stop authority from being questioned. It creates ideas of propriety to hide its own tyranny. The only remaining element is to make sure that if someone does not discover their own worth, that they cannot extricate authority from their lives. This is done by making the defense of freedom immoral. So what I'm doing here is supposedly immoral, in other words. The price of freedom is blood. The reason for this is simple. Evil does not care if you live or die. It will kill you before it yields control over your life to you. Okay? But I'm going to say, when you have the power of the black sun and you are connected, they cannot harm you. Remember that. Know that. Because even if they were to shoot me in the head, I die. I already know I'm going to come right back. Right where I stand, I am back where I am. The next matrix is here. Okay? So all you're doing is freeing me from this body unrightfully so, immorally and unethically. And you, I would say, better be prepared. And you might want to feel worried. Because the shame of harming, causing suffering to another human soul, creature, animal, piece of land is infathomably, brutally barbaric, and nearly an unforgivable sin. To deny Mother Earth, the ultimate maker, goddess, power, infinite source, is to deny the very heartbeat that pumps blood through your body to your kingdom, to the brain, that is the very essence of the divinity of your human soul, which impacts this realm into the next realm. Whether you want to believe that, justify another means or way of living, or even understand the fullness of impact of when you shoot and kill another being, a soul, life. When you harm or kill, the cause of effect comes back on you. And when you do this repeatedly, or you promote such things, the Black Sun is aware of it. So, as I said, you cannot kill me. You cannot harm me. You cannot cause suffering or harm, pain on me. I know this. I allowed it. I feel it and visualize that those who do these things, before they even pull the trigger, they will choke on their own saliva. They will have their heartbeat drop and die. Because I am, in essence, a living, breathing, moving God form of the Black Sun. I am sent here to send out this very message to the entire planet. It's a message that is so blissful, pure, divine, that many will not be able to resonate, pick up, or even fully allow and accept the words I'm uttering into your life. But these are the most important decrees that a human soul could hear, especially in this day and age. So take heed, the Great Reset is around the corner, and all of injustices are about to be made right and just. No matter what, this is the reality. Whether you're aware of this or not, this is the absolute true truth. Second, let me get this. Okay, to move that. So, and I send out this message, take this time, as I'm putting all these series together. I could be trying to make money, I could be trying to make profits and sales and go viral and promote my music or what have you. To me, this is among one of the most important voids, pieces of my very human essence that I can leave on this planet Earth. And why I do this is because I truly do love humanity, and I know that if we freed all of humanity and went to this sustainable permaculture, this Garden of Eden, Mount Meru, Shambhala, Nirvana, heaven, that is going to be here one way or another, we'd see a different system. We would see not a broken system with broken people. We would see a delightful kingdom of heaven that starts within and carries without, throughout all things, made just, as nature is just, when we go with the flow and allow things to be. So there is just static misconception as we are heading to the light at the end of the tunnel to go down the tunnel to the black hole, and then look into the mirror and realize the black sun is us. We are that creator. Pretty intricate, huh? It is the ultimate truth, and I know each one of you guys are aware of this. One way, shape, or form, you just have to overcome this peer pressure. And by me even bringing this out is bringing this awareness. To be your brother's keeper would be to share this secretly, privately. If you're not courageous enough to stand up against the ultimate tyranny. I know all things, I see all things, I feel all things, and that's how I allow all these things. Okay? And I never forget, and I recognize the signs, the symbols, and their numbers. All of nature and things around us have a universal number code, after all. I've gone through this on my God numbers, hashtag God numbers, or arithmancy. Okay, so, like I said, the price of freedom is blood, right? Hundreds of millions, have experienced when you say something like I'm doing or stuff like this, you say, Eric, you better be careful, they're going to kill you. No, they can't. And don't allow someone to say such things. There's no one that's going to come kill you for telling the truth. And if that was ever made so, like I said, the black sun is going to protect you, the creator maker of all. There is nothing worth not dying for the next life. In other words, if they kill you, what, oh, sweet death that shall be. To die for something so magnificent as the inner fortitude of your soul, your human divinity, your absolute true truth that you know is right, the morality, the ethics, the virtues, the honor that goes with standing up for and fighting for truth by not fighting violently or in a, vicious way. Okay? So, and I'm going to let you know we've made it to nearly the half mark on this full segment. Okay? The Go Greenlight, Part 4, to Infinite Freedom, and the end of all evil, which is the end of all slavery, law, authority. Will that not be a beautiful day indeed? And people will tell me, Eric, but God is my only authority. If you only knew how synonymous, one, you are with God, the Maker Creator, you would never say such things. To be a humble servant or a slave to yourself sounds conceited and in a sense, beyond egotistically selfish. It's more so to be selfless is to obtain full godhood beyond. And in essence, you then practice that humility of being a humble master or beyond God. We are shamed for saying things such as this, or told you're atheistic or demonic or heathen or Luciferian, you name it. I'm none of these things. I am a mere man. Many of these practices show the qualities of these things, like Hinduism, okay, because that is where they want to try to qualify or classify me as, and I refuse all such labels, titles, words, boxes which they want to proclaim me as. It's not going to work. Because I have made the choice to ensure that doesn't happen. Make your own words up, your own God, the name, whatever. Okay? Some people say, Eric, but some people need something better, greater than themselves to follow. No, if you only knew the very breath and mechanism and the orchestration your body does and provides, you are the greater, higher conscious power than yourself. You just have to be willing to accept that. Let it be. Be life. Be real. Be wise. These are messages you're not going to get from some guru or follower, because I'm not trying to impress you, try to start a cult or culture. This is actually just basic wisdom from the kingdom of heaven. When you go out and take this leap of faith, all this information will be provided to you. You can download it from the sun, okay? This is how I know when I die where I'm going. I've already been told. And the connection's so real and broad from any aspect of having faith or hope. Those are security blankets. I know where I'm going because I'm already there. The heart is where the home is. The heart is always activated where the home is. We're about to be fully activated. I just activated us today. So this message goes out today. And read my write-up on the efficacies of Abbaboobo if you wish to understand what I'm talking about. It goes really deep. It's super powerful. It's going to bless you with the Kazwa. I promise you that. For those who grasp this message now, it's very important. I wouldn't be wasting my time here, okay? So, like I said, the reason is simple, okay? Evil does not care if you live or die. It will kill you before it yields control over your life. Hundreds of millions have died in history where it was... Dang on it. They keep cutting me off. Did I come back? Yeah, they're trying to cut me off. They try to remove my accounts. They've removed 233 videos. How many accounts? 800 videos on the other thing, Facebook. Okay. So, you see, this is their only way, is that's their platform, their mechanism which they feel they can control. And to that, I'd say, you know, we control it now. Get this. Nature is a part of the matrix of the computing system. So the more I ground to Mother Earth, the more it corrupts their system when they try to do evil against me. Just remember that. That's how you hack their system. Reprogram yourself. Ground yourself. Unlearn their jargon. Live off the land. Be free from their system. The black sun knows who you are. The electromagnetic phi dielectric energy that it emits knows all peoples, knows all things, and is seeing all things. It is the all-seeing eye, the hidden one. A lot of what you hear in the Bible in that aspect is true. Okay? They cannot go around that. That's why a lot of people end up believing of faith, because the things I'm telling you are the real reality. They made a religious belief system and doctrine and dogma and bias around it, so it makes it believable. No, there's a cause and effect. Every time you kill someone, you cause harm, suffering, pain, you do these malicious acts in malevolence, you are going to have an effect come back. So that's why a lot of times people, and including myself, followed God of the Bible for 20 years or whatever, because it seems so real. When I made a mistake, bad things came back to me. Well, you don't need a Bible or hell to be scared to be a good person, or heaven as a reward to be a somewhat decent person, or to stand by and float on through the finish line is coming up, and you can finish now. Like I said, go back to nature. Then your intentions. No, I don't want them to screw up my Facebook. Whenever they do that, it takes away this message. They're trying to curse me, cause plagues and hexes against me. It's not going to happen. It'll turn on them. So no matter what happens, it's happening for the benefit of good, not evil. So the tricksters we allow to only trick themselves. Don't ever give up. Don't ever be scared. Guts, no fear. Okay? Visualize their computers being blown up in their face when they try to censor the truth. Smart be it. So, every instance of a thug, right? We were saying that, you know, hundreds of millions of people died in order to provide this principle, right? While the vast majority of people are not evil. So, every instance, like for instance, a thug maiming, raping, or killing an innocent person proves this principle. While the vast majority of people are not evil, there are powerful tyrants who will never yield. They are men who will scorch the earth in order to maintain authority. The only way to end tyranny is to destroy every tyrant. The more the tyrants are allowed to work the devices of culture upon people, the harder tyranny is extricated, and the more lives it will cost to do so. This is the reason that culture teaches that the only proper way for you to defend yourself against law is to obey the law. The teaching preserves tyranny. 100 million people have died at the hands of communists because so few were willing to ignore the law, right? The teaching preserves tyranny. 100 million people died in these communists, right? And instead do what was right. They were willing to ignore the law. Okay? Europe was nearly obliterated because so many people valued the law more than liberty. They failed to stop Adolf Hitler while he was still weak. Removing the true nature of violence from news and relating its understanding to the artificial violence of entertainment teaches people that there is safety in slavery. News reports enable authority when the true cost of tyranny is removed from view. Culture hides the plainest images of blood from people in order to keep them passive. In reality, evil will stop at nothing to control you, including destroying everything you have and everyone you love. Violence is used in the preservation of tyranny every day. Violence and murder are only weapons of immorality when used to destroy freedom. The defense of freedom is never immoral. Any man who will yield or wield the weapons of violence against innocent people in order to gain authority must be destroyed. And this is where the Great Reset will occur. The Black Sun will remove all tyrants from this existence. Thank you, Abbaboobo. So, with that comes tactics, right? Let's see. How long has this segment been? We may end this and start it up again. So I'm going to shut this down and we'll start it up in 15 minutes. We will start part 5 on Go the Green Light, Aurora Borealis, the green light, exit to infinite freedom, right? Infinite freedom. and the end of all slavery.